to Maker Bell, where I make things that are usually not bells. I've been watching a lot of furniture flipping videos lately where someone goes out, buys some furniture for a low amount of money and paints it, fixes it up, and then sells it for a profit. So those videos give me a lot of the good brain juice, and I'm gonna try it out for myself. Here's the first dresser. It's pretty dirty, so I need to clean it really well, but first I need to take all the knobs off. Here's the second dresser, which I also got off of Facebook Marketplace for $20. It's a lot cleaner than the first one, which I'm very happy about. I'm still going to clean it really well. So now I'm going to take out the hardware and clean it. Okay, the dressers are almost ready to be painted. First I need to do a quick scuff sanding on both of them, and this one, the top is all scratched up, so I'll need to sand that pretty well. I also used wood filler on some of the knob holes, so I need to sand on the inside of the dresser where I did that. The sanding process took forever. I'm definitely going to look into getting an electric sander. At least I got a great arm workout from it. Well, everything's all dusty. I'm all dusty. I'm gonna get all this dust cleaned up and then I think I can start painting. Oh my goodness, my workspace is all clean now. I basically vacuumed everything and then wiped it down with a wet cloth and then a dry cloth, so I hope all the dust is gone, and now I think I can paint. Well, I don't have a lot of space to paint all this, but I think this is gonna have to do. Something that I'm trying to work on is to take things that I want to do but think that I can't do, and find ways to actually do them. At first I thought that I would need to wait until I lived in a place with a garage to flip furniture. I currently live in a townhouse with 2 floors and 2 bedrooms upstairs. But I realized that I could start to flip furniture in the second bedroom as long as I use low VOC paint and get furniture that can be carried up the stairs. A garage would make things a lot easier and give me way more space, but I can make do with a bedroom for now. I'm all done with the first coat, and it took about 5 or 6 hours to sand and then paint it all. I love this really nice light gray color. I really hope it works out, because that was a lot of time. Then after it dries, I'll add the second layer of paint. Here's the second coat of paint. I didn't actually film this because it's just kind of more painting. But yeah, it's looking like we're gonna have to have a third coat. It looks good so far. I lightly sanded between most layers with a fine grit sanding sponge, and then dusted everything off. Next, I applied 3 layers of polyacrylic to seal the paint. By the way, I am following all the directions on the paint can and waiting the required number of hours between coats. I ended up finding new knobs for one of the dressers and spray painting all of the hardware a nice matte black. But I didn't film any of that because it was a lot of me running outside into 20-degree weather, spraying on a coat, and then sticking the knobs into my downstairs bathroom with the fan running. The spray paint recommends painting in 50 to 90-degree weather, so I couldn't leave the knobs outside because the paint wouldn't stick very well. I made sure to use a metal-specific primer, paint, and then top coat. Would you look at that? The screws I got are not long enough. Oh my goodness, how did I do that? I need to get new screws now. Okay, this is fine. I have some really bad news. I finished up this dresser, got it all prepped, and took some pictures of it. They turn out beautiful. And I noticed a chip somewhere, so I looked up what to do, how to like test your dresser if it's like chip proof or anything, or scratch proof. And I did a tiny test on it. It is not scratch proof at all. So the other one is fine. I tested the other one. It was a wooden dresser. It's fine. This one's a laminate dresser, and I think I just didn't sand it enough. I think I'm gonna have to completely redo this dresser. Gonna have to sand it all down again, sand it some more, and it's fine. I'm glad I didn't sell someone an ugly, bad dresser that chips right away though. Thank goodness. So I took the knobs off and sanded it down to the particle board. It took 5 hours to hand sand through the paint and laminate. After this video, I looked into painting laminate surfaces to see what others have done, and most people recommend sanding the laminate with a fine grit sandpaper and then using a specific primer for glossy surfaces. I'm definitely going to try that next time. I didn't actually film any of the repainting, but it was just kind of the same thing again, not too interesting. And after some trial and error and repainting an entire dresser, I listed them on Facebook Marketplace. But was it actually worth it to flip these dressers? Well, they actually sold for the listed prices. I listed them both at $150 each, and they sold within a few days. So that gives me $300, but how much did I actually spend on them? So I did the math, and my startup costs include all the tools that I used and also like materials that I can use in the future, such as I used some spray paint to spray the knobs, but I didn't actually use up the whole spray paint can. So if I estimate how much I used on just the dressers, I used about $15 of materials and the dressers were $20 each, so that gives me $70 in expenses on these two dressers. But I actually had to buy a bunch of tools and materials and some extra paint and stuff. Like the top coat can was $20, but I have a lot left in it, so I can use that on future projects. So I did all the math and it cost about $270 to buy all the materials, all the paint, the dressers, but I also do have a lot of materials for future projects. So these first two dressers actually let me break even, so I think it is completely worth it. And I'm going to try this again in the future. Now that I have all the materials, I won't have to spend anything on these next few flips unless I want a specific paint. So flipping furniture is going to be really good for me in the long run. I learned so much from these first two flips and I'm gonna do a lot differently in the future. So if you want to see my furniture flipping journey in the future, feel free to subscribe and like the video to appease the algorithm. Thanks for watching, bye!